Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be adding furniture or stuff around our house inside of our doors game. Sorry I haven't uploaded like that often. I've been taking like 12-day breaks in between each video, but I'll try to start uploading consistent again. So to start off, we're going to go to our set rooms and we're going to put this folder in workspace since we're going to be adding something to our rooms. So in our rooms, I'm going to go into set rooms and go to room 1. I'm going to hit the plus and I'm going to insert a new folder, and in this folder I'm just going to name this furniture points. And then I'm going to go to room 1 again and then hit the plus again and insert another folder which is just going to be called furniture. So now that we have these two folders, we're going to be making like little nodes of where we want furniture to be able to spawn. So I'm going to hit the part at the top of the screen and go get it. I'm just going to make the part. I'm going to go to the properties. I'm just going to make it 1 by 1 by 1, so it's just a little square since it's not going to be like visible. You're not meant to see it. And then I'm just gonna make this red and I'm gonna change its transparency to 0.5 just so I can see it while I'm working with it. So what you want to do with this part is you want to position it where you want something to be able to spawn. So let's say right here you want a door, or no, not a door, a table or like a chair to spawn. Then you're gonna put this little red part there, and then you're gonna drag the part into furniture points, and then you can name this something like 0.1. And then with 0.1, I'm just going to make sure this is anchored and that can collide is false so it doesn't interfere with anything. And then you can press Ctrl D or right click and press duplicate, and then I'm just going to drag it along a little far away. So this is where something else can spawn. So this can be like a table, and then we're going to do it one more time, and then this could be a chair. So then we're going to rename 0.1 to 0.2, 0.1 over here to 0.3, and then we can do the same thing on the other side. We can duplicate it, put it over here. I'm just going to name this 1.4, and then I'm going to duplicate this and put this to 0.5 and just do the same process for the rest. So 0.6. So now we have 6 points. A chair, table, or whatever you want to add into your game will be able to randomly spawn at all of these points and furniture points. And now obviously we need some furniture, so I'm just gonna make something quick. I can just make, let's say we're just gonna put a little like table, so just simple table leg, and this can be a mesh too, it doesn't matter. It can be either a mesh, a model, or just a single part. This table is a bit small. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger, something like this, and just flatten this. No, I'm just gonna keep it like that, and then you can go see how it's gonna look. So I'm gonna bring this over here. It's just gonna be something like this. I'm gonna make sure that the table is about the height of the points. So I'm just gonna make the legs of the table a little longer. It should be fine. Or actually, let's just keep this like this. So you want to select all of the parts, or if you have more than one part, you want to select all of the parts of your furniture, your table, or whatever. And then you either want to right click it and hit group as a model, or you can press Ctrl G and it'll put it into a group, or you can go to model and then you can hit group, but we're just going to hit Ctrl G to put it into a model. Then I'm just going to name this table, as that's what it is. And now we're going to get the top part of the table. So this is going to be that part, and I'm just going to rename this top, or table top. Then we're going to go back to our model. This is if you have a model. If you don't have a model, then you can skip ahead in the video. But if you have a model, then you want to hit your model. You want to go to primary part, hit the empty space, and then click on your tabletop in the Explorer to set the primary part to the tabletop. So now let's say you go to point 1 and we copy its position. We go to tabletop, or we go to table. Let's set the table's position here. So this is where it's going to spawn if it were to spawn at point 1. And as you can see, the legs aren't exactly touching the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the legs a little bit longer, as isn't a problem. Just going to grab all of the legs and set the position one more time. And as you can see, that's how the table will be positioned. And if you want to see how it'll look when a player is next to it, you can go to plugins, and then you can go to, actually I'm pretty sure that they changed this. Yeah, you can go to avatar and then rig builder, and then you can either select an R16 or R15 character. So I'm gonna go R15 and put a block rig, and then this will just spawn in a player, so then you can see how the player will look compared to the table. So since this table is gonna be a little taller, I'm gonna actually select all of the points and I'm gonna move them down a little bit. So something around here. This is where like the top of your model is gonna be. So if this was a table, then this I'm gonna be setting to the tabletop. If this was a chair, then I'll set this to like the seating part of the chair. And then you can do the same thing to test where it's gonna spawn. You can go to point 1, copy the position of point 1, go back to your model, and then you can set its position, and that's how it's gonna look when it spawns in, and I'm fine with that. So then we can go back to replicated storage. We're gonna hit the plus and we're gonna insert a folder. Then we're gonna rename this folder to furniture or something along those lines. So this is gonna have all of our furniture, like our chairs and tables, and then I'm just gonna put this table inside of the furniture folder. So now we actually have to make it so the table can spawn at one of these points, because right now we just have points in a table but they won't be spawning anywhere. So I'm just gonna put set rooms back into the replicated storage, and I'm gonna go to server skip service and open generate rooms, where we create our rooms. And in our else statement, as in our else statements where we're actually making our rooms, we are going to loop through, since if we go back to our rooms, so actually I'm going to add these folders to every room. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy furniture points and furniture and drag it into room 3. I'm going to remove everything in room or in the furniture points for the other ones though, so it doesn't bug out. So where is the other room? Room 2, paste into. So make sure to put the furniture and furniture points in every single room, or you don't have to do it with the special rooms, since the special room, it's called special because we can personalize it so it's not randomized every time and it's always in the same spot. Obviously, if you want to make a randomly generated like table or something in there, you can do the same thing we're gonna do inside of our else statement, and make sure you have furniture and furniture points there as well. I'll show that once we finish adding it to our regular rooms. So once we're ready with everything inside of our rooms, I'm just going to close this folder in these special rooms. What we're going to do is, actually I'm going to reopen this, we're going to loop through all of the furniture points. So all of the points that are inside of the furniture, we're going to go through all of them. And up here, before we do that, we are going to make a value. Actually, let's first loop through. So like we did before, to loop through everything with our for loop, we're going to do for I, v in pairs, and then we're going to do new room, wait for child, and then the name of our folder, which is furniture points, and then get children do, just like that. So what this is doing is this is going through all of the content. So we're gonna be going to our new room, which is in a variable, and we're gonna wait for a child called furniture points, which is our folder. Since we're waiting for the child because we want to make sure that it's there before we try to do anything, because if there's nothing called furniture points inside of the room, then we can't really modify that, since, well, it's not there. And this is a child of room, so we're gonna wait for a child with this name right here. Make sure this name matches wherever your furniture points are, and if your furniture points aren't inside of a folder, you'd have to do this differently, so just make sure it's in a folder so it's better organized. And then get children gets everything inside of that folder, as everything inside of the folder counts as a children, and this folder counts as a parent for everything. A child is basically something inside of another thing. So the parent of this point would be the furniture points, and the parent of the furniture points would be room 1, and well, the furniture points would be a child of room 1, and so on. So while we're looping through all of the rooms, we're going to make a value or a variable. So we're going to do local add, or let's do add furniture equals math.random, and let's say 0, and let's just do 10 so it's easier to come across. So we're making a variable called add furniture, and we're going to get a random number between either 0 or 10. So the minimum number it can reach is 0, and the maximum number it can reach is 10. And actually we're going to make that 1 since we just want to work with 1. So we're using this so we can pick a random number, and let's say the number is 1 or 2. If it's 1 or 2, then we're going to put a table at that point. And if it's not 1 or 2, then we're not going to put a table at that point, or whatever one of your furniture that you're going to be using. So I'm just going to make a note which 1 or 2 equals furniture, or furniture. So if it's 1 or 2, then it'll add a furniture. So then we're going to check if it's 1 or 2. So if add furniture is less than or equal to 2, so we're going to check if this, which is going to be a number, if add furniture is a number, is less than or equal to 2. So if it's 2 or anything less than 2, which can be 1, then anything we put in here will happen. And basically this is like when we put in the name of a variable, anything that it's assigned to, it's basically like replacing add furniture here with whatever we assign it to up here. But we're just making it easier, since there's long stuff like, let's say we turn this into a variable, we can just put in like do, and then it'll do all of this. If we put it into a variable, it's just much easier to do things multiple times instead of typing out this long piece of code every single time. So if add furniture is greater than or equal to 2, then since we have our furniture table or our furniture folder, we're going to make a variable at the top real quick. So at the top of our page, we're going to do local furniture equals game dot replicated storage, wait for child, and then furniture. So once again, we're making a variable called furniture. We're going into replicated storage, which is part of the game. Everything in the game is the explore tab basically. So we're going to get replicated storage, and then we're going to wait for a child called furniture, which is our furniture folder. So now, since we only have a table right now, we're just going to do furniture wait for child table, or actually we're going to do local furniture item equals, let's just do furniture item, can't spell, but so local furniture item equals furniture wait for child table, which is what we named our table, and then we're going to clone it, and then we're going to do furniture item set primary part C-frame, which we might actually have to change up, but in here we're going to set a C-frame similar to how we did over here. As you can see, we were setting the room C-frame to the endpoint. So we're just going to do so V is gonna be, since we're looping through a new room and the furniture points, V is gonna be whichever point it's selected. So if it's looping through everything, it's gonna go through every single one of these like this, and V, if it's currently selected on this, then V is going to be equivalent to this, and then it's going to move on to this, and V will equal this, which is 0.2. So we're going to do V dot C-frame. So if add furniture is less than or equal to 2, then we're going to clone furniture item and set its position or its primary part. Remember, we set the primary part to the tabletop. Its primary part is going to be equal to that point, and then we want to do furniture item dot parent equals, and then we can just do v dot parent wait for child furniture. So what we're doing here is actually, let's put this one line before, just like that, If you want to cut something out, you can select it and press Control X and then Control V to put it back, or you can right click it and press cut and then paste. So what we're doing is we're setting the parent or the location of that clone. So let's say we duplicate this, we can set the parent to, let's say, workspace. But what we're doing is we're duplicating this, and in V, which can be one of the points, we're going to get the parent of V, which is furniture points, and then the parent of furniture points, which is room 1, and then we're going to wait for something called furniture, and we're going to put the clone inside of our furniture folder so everything can be sorted nicely. So now that we've done that, you will see a problem if the room is rotated. So let's just go and put this back, or let's drag our furniture folder back to workspace. And this is only if you have a model. If you have a model, what you want to do is weld all of these parts to the primary part, or the tabletop in my scenario. So to weld, you can go to model, you can go to this little drop down, and then you can find weld, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click on one of the parts that is not the primary part, or in my case the tabletop. So I'm going to select the leg, and you'll see this little arrow or this little line, and then you want to click on the tabletop. So you'll see this little line which indicates that this part right here, this tabletop, or this part, this leg right here, is welded to the tabletop. So if we were to rotate the tabletop using the script, it'll move the part along with it. So make sure you do that for the rest. You just hit create on the weld, you select the leg or any other part, and then your primary part, and then just do this for the rest of the parts of your model, just like so. Just gonna hit this, and then once you got that welded, you should be good to go. So you can put your furniture folder back in the replicated storage, and then we should be able to continue. We should be done with this. So let's just give this a try real quick, just to see if everything is working fine, see if we need to make any modifications. And keep in mind, I only put the points in one room, so it'll only generate in one room. So I need to find the room. As you can see, the table did spawn over here, and something I forgot to do to the table is, well, anchor all of the parts, which is my bad. So I'm going to go to furniture, and I'm going to select all of the parts, and then I'm just going to anchor it. And something else we should do is go into your generate room scripts once again, which is in server script service, or should be. And then all we're going to do is, after we've made all of this clone, we're going to do v destroy. What this is doing is this is deleting the point that we were on. And actually, we can put this v destroy after this if statement, v destroy, because we want to destroy or delete the point after we've determined whether or not we want to do something to it, since we don't want to be able to see it and we don't really need it anymore. So we're just going to remove it from the game, and then once we go back to our game, let's go ahead and try this out. And then you can just hit open. Let's walk through. So we didn't get the room with the generation this time. I'm just going to pick up this key, and soon we're going to be adding animations to our doors. Instead of it just, well, disappearing like that, we're going to make it actually open, and we're going to make some fixes with the keys, since you can get it as many times as you want, and you can keep it for future doors. So if I go over here and I just spam E real quick, as you can see, I got the key 7 times, which I don't think is something you want in your game, as now there's no purpose to go into this room back here. I can just keep going since I have multiple keys. So we're just going to keep walking through these. If it takes a little too long, I'm just going to go to my player's character and increase my walk speed to something like, say, 50, just so I could walk a little quicker, so I could find a door that I want to. As you can see, here we have a table in this corner and this little hallway. And let's see if we could come across another one of these doors, just so you can compare them. Remember, the table was in the corner, so let's go and see if the next one is also in the corner, or if it's in a new spot. Oh, the special room wall is a little messed up, but we can fix that. Just gonna get some more keys. And wow, there doesn't seem to be very many small rooms in this. Let's just keep going through all of these doors. And as you can see, this one's in the middle instead of being in the corner. And sometimes there'll be more than one, but that's a little rare. So as you can see, oh, here you go. There's two tables in this room. One table over here, and one table in this corner. So that's the room generation, or not the room generation, but the furniture generation. So now you can have furniture inside of your game. Once again, to there. If you want to add more furniture, so let's say I just want to add like a quick table, I'm just gonna put set rooms and furniture and workspace once again, because I just would like to test out how this would look. Obviously, you can make your little chair or table. So I'm just going to make some little legs like so. Oh, I need to make this a little thinner. Something along the lines of this. And then I'm just going to make a taller back piece and a seat. And then I can select this, I can group it. I'm going to name this chair. Then find the top part, or the seat if you're doing a chair, and I'm just going to name this seat. Just going to make this a little thicker. Then you can go to chair, in the primary part, click the empty space and select the seat. Now you can set, or you can go to actually one of these points. Go to room 1. I'm going to go to one of the points. I want to see how it'll look. Just go to the chair and then set the position to the point. It'll be rotated when we put it in game, but let's just go ahead and grab the legs of the chair and put them a little bit down. Scale them a little down, just so they're actually touching the floor and the chair isn't floating, because I don't think we'd like that. So now we have our chair. We can put this in furniture, put everything back in replicated storage or set rooms and everything. And then we can go to our generate rooms, and if you like to do this, you can do another random number, like depending on how many chairs there are, to just pick something random. So let's say you wanted so there's going to be 2. You can do a random number using the amount of items that are inside of the furniture, or the furniture folder. So let's say there's 2, then you can pick 1 or 2. But what we're going to do is we're going to put both of the names of the chair and the table inside of a table, which is something in programming, not the actual name table. And a table or a list looks like this. So let's say local table equals this. So these are curly brackets, and here you can put stuff like, well, the table and then chair, something like this. So what we're going to do is you're going to do, or we can do local furniture amounts, or AMNT equals furniture get children. So we're just going to get everything that's inside of the furniture folder. And then what we can do is make a new table. So local furnitures, I'm going to add an S since it's different from this, and it equals, and then we're going to put brackets. So this is going to make an empty table, and then we're going to loop through everything in the furniture. So for I, V in pairs, furniture get children. And then we're going to just do furnitures, and we're going to be doing table.insert, and then we're going to do furnitures, or if I can type it right, furnitures, and we're going to be adding the name of that furniture. So we're going to do v.name. So we're going to insert something into this table, which is going to be v.name, which v can be either chair or table. So it can add chair or table inside of this. It's going to be something like this, but it's just going to be automatic, so we don't have to change this every time. And then we're just going to do a random number up here. So we're going to do local chosen furniture equals math.random, and then number of furniture amount or actually we're gonna do 1 and then number of furniture mount. So this is making a variable called chosen furniture, getting a random number from 1 and however many items are inside of furniture. So let's say we have 6, it's going to be 1 and 6 and so on. And then we're going to replace table inside of our furniture item, wait for child, 2 furnitures, and then we're going to put these square brackets and we're going to put chosen furniture. So what this is doing is we're going into our furniture table, and let's say we have chair and table. Number 1 is going to be chair, so let's do chair and table. So number 1 would be chair. This would be equivalent to furnitures 1, and then the table will be equivalent to furniture 2. So if we're getting a random number between 1 and 2, then we're going to go and pick a furniture out of the furnitures folder that is assigned to that number. And then after we loop through this, we're just going to print furnitures just so we can see what everything is inside of there. So now we can go to our doors game, we can hit play, and let's see if we have any problems or if we're working fine. Oh, we got an error, which is probably just me typing something wrong. Yeah, most likely. So I'm just going to go here. Let's just go to this line, and yeah, I added a little bit or a little too many parentheses, which a little too much. So we're just going to let this load up, and we're gonna test it out. So we're gonna open our elevator door, and well, we're just gonna go ahead and give ourselves speed right off the bat, since we don't want to wait that long to see the final results. Let's go through here. Just gonna get 100 keys or whatever, something like this, so it's easier to go through the doors without having to stop or slow down in any way. So once again, the doors are, or the chair, oh, I forgot to anchor the chair once again, so it just fell over. But as you can see, the chair spawned, and yeah, the chair keeps falling over. I should probably anchor that. So let's just go to our chair and anchor it, or anchor all the parts. And one thing I forgot to do is make sure that you weld all of the parts to the primary part. So once again, you go to model, you go to this little create button, you hit the drop down, you hit weld, you select one of the parts that aren't the primary part. So this seat right here is the primary part, as that's what I said to. I'm going to select the leg. You're going to see this little ray or line. Then you're going to go to your primary part and then click on the primary part, and you're going to repeat the same thing for every part that isn't the primary part. So you click on the part and then the primary part, which I don't think I pressed the right part. So part, primary part, part, primary part, and then once again the part and the primary part. So once you've done that, you can keep all your stuff in furniture, and it should rotate properly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it helped you. And yeah, see ya.